morning, Nicole.
Hello.
Thank you for coming in today. Go ahead and have a seat. All right, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Good.
All right, so why are you interested in working in the OR with us?
Well, I started getting kind of an interest in the OR early in my nursing school career. I just thought that it was something that I would be good at and I'd be interested in. And ever since I started my senior preceptorship there, that has just been confirmed. And I've loved everything that I've been able to do, all the different parts of the perioperative experience. And I just think that it's something I would be good at in the long run.
Okay, so you said you're doing your senior preceptorship currently in the OR?
Yes, ma'am.
So how long have you been doing that for?
It started at the beginning of September, and we're going to have total over 96 hours.
Okay, 96 hours. That's a lot of good experience.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see. So why, obviously that included, why else would you be the best candidate for this position, do you believe?
Well, just including that, my experience in the OR, and also I think just some of the things necessary to be a nurse in the OR. There's a lot of attention to detail, which I feel that I have, with the sterile fields and all the instruments and things like that. And also you still have the relationship with the patient after the surgery, even before the surgery, comforting them and just trying to prepare them for the surgery, which I think I have those skills too.
Okay, very good. So let's talk more specifically about some of your experiences through nursing school.
Okay.
So in what course would you say you got your worst grade, and why was that?
Well, probably some of the first nursing classes. I think maybe pathophysiology, and I think that was more because of adjusting to nursing school and the fast-paced environment. And once we got more used to nursing experience and the knowledge that you need to be a nurse, my grades improved.
Okay, totally understand that. So can you tell me about your most memorable patient?
Sure. In a med-surg clinical, I had a patient, and I was actually able to be with him all throughout the day. We started on a med-surg floor. He was a renal patient, and then I was also able to follow him down to where he was preparing for surgery, and I was going with his wife, and it was just nice to be able to care for him as a patient and also be able to talk to him more about personal things all throughout the day as we were waiting. So I definitely got to know him on a medical and nursing level and also on a more personal level, and it was nice to be with him all throughout the day, just having him as the patient.
Okay. And can you tell me about a clinical mistake that you have made and how you handled it?
Sure. Also in a med-surg unit this summer, I was giving a patient a feeding through his PEG tube, and there were a lot of other students in the room and my teacher, and I think I looked away and it came loose and all this feeding got on him. And luckily he was a really nice man. It probably could have been a lot worse, but I think I handled it really well as far as, apologizing, cleaning up everything, making sure there was no evidence of this, and also making sure that it was made right. And he did get the rest of his feeding and everything like that. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you said your clinical instructor was there in the room. In your preceptorship, is your clinical instructor always present with you too?
For the most part, she's always there. She might walk off and do something else, but I would say most of the time she's always there or not too far away.
Okay, so transitioning from being a student with a constant supervision to being an OR nurse with us, what would you need or expect from a supervisor?
I think just support. I would want to know that I have the supervisor to always support me, and I can ask questions to them, and I feel comfortable doing so. And whether it be a nursing skill that I am not quite sure about, or whether it be a conflict between other staff members or anything like that, I would just want a nurse manager or a supervisor to be someone I can trust talking to and be comfortable talking to about those things.
Okay, so a lot of support. So going off of that, where would you say that you get your sense of motivation from?
I think, yeah, it would come from support from other people, but also I just have a drive to be better all the time. And I'm just trying to be the best nurse I can always be and the best at each skill, So that drives me to be better and it motivates me to keep going, everything like that.
So, you're saying a drive to be better. How would you define success?
I think success has to do with progressing every day, and maybe success not being a certain point that you get to, but just improving every day and, being happy with what you do and being good at it. But I wouldn't say success is there's not a certain point that I'm trying to get to, but just always improving and always bettering myself as a nurse and as a person.
Okay. So what would you say your greatest weakness is?
I think right now I'm having trouble with maybe confidence in the nursing field. And, it's hard when you're a student and you don't really know if you can do this and you're kind of waiting for instruction all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely see myself struggling with that, not just going for it and doing stuff, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, but I've noticed that I hold back a little bit, and I definitely don't think that's something I'm going to take with me throughout my whole career, when I start working by myself or when I start working in a higher position than a student, obviously, that will go away and I'll have more confidence to just do what I know I can and things like that.
Okay. So, going off of that a little bit, can you talk to me a little bit about your goals for the future and how long you see yourself, working in this position and what you hope to do with this and go from there?
Yeah, I definitely would want to work in this position or facility as long as possible. As far as my goals, like I said, I'm always trying to improve and better myself, and with that I would want to continue education, but I don't have any solid plans of what I want to do to continue my education. I just know that that's a goal, to keep going, moving forward all the time. But I would definitely want to stay in this field as long as possible if I had this position.
Okay, but you don't know necessarily what degree you would further it in?
No, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm. Plenty of time. So, what kind of decisions are most difficult for you?
Well, I think a lot of times in the medical field, there's a lot of decisions that you have to make really quick. And a lot of times I am good at making the quick decisions when there's something, that really needs to be made right on time. Sometimes I can overthink things. But I also do like to be able to weigh my options. But I think if it's a long, drawn-out decision that I'll have to make, then that's where I struggle a little bit.
Okay. So can you tell me what failure means to you? We already discussed kind of what success means. So going in the opposite of that, what do you think means?
Failure, a big part of failure would just be kind of giving up on myself, giving up on my career. I think if I ever got to the point where I felt like I could not do nursing anymore, that would definitely be a failure for me. If I just felt like, I don't know, like I said, I always want to improve all the time, so failure would be if I just felt like I couldn't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm. So we already discussed what you would do when you made a clinical error and how you would handle that. What would you do if you observed a coworker making a clinical error? How would you handle that?
Okay, I would definitely want to talk to the coworker first, especially if I knew her. But even if it was a nurse that I didn't know, I think I would need to talk to her first, maybe see if there was a miscommunication that I saw, or just see what she had to say about it, and definitely approach it in a way that you're not criticizing or reprimanding them at all. But talk to them about it first, and as I'm talking to them about it, if necessary, let them know that I am going to have to talk to the supervisor, the nurse manager, charge nurse, whoever about it, and then go to them. But definitely just making sure that you're being respectful to the coworker as you're talking to them. But I think it is important to talk to the coworker that you see making the mistake before you go to a higher up.
Okay, so if they, do you think it would always be necessary to take it to the manager, or do you think it could be resolved between the two of you?
I think it could be resolved between the two of us, but if it was something like where an incident report needed to be filled out or something, then that's something you would need to tell the manager. But if it's just like a conflict between coworkers or something like that, yeah, I would definitely just try to work it out with the coworker.
Okay, so what type of qualities would you think made a strong manager or an ideal manager?
Well, that's kind of like a balance between being powerful and professional and in that strong position, and also being able to relate to your nurses and the employees under you. So I would want someone that understands me and can support me and things like that. Especially in nursing, our managers and our supervisors have been in our position before, so I would expect them to kind of remember how they felt when they were nurses and relate to us, but also they definitely need to portray the idea that they are, they're our boss, and we need to respect them. So I would want them to relate to us, but also kind of demand respect.
All right. I think that is all the questions that I have for you today, but thank you so much for coming in, and we will be in touch with you soon.
All right. Thank you so much.